is Alex, and welcome to Vegan with a Passport. From a vegan chocolate shop to tacos to stuffed croissants, Italian and Vietnamese cuisine, mac and cheese skillets, a vegan bar, and even an annual vegan festival, let's go check out the vegan scene in San Diego, California. Let's start our San Diego foodie adventure at an all-vegan bar called Mothership. Here, you'll find a variety of alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages, snacks, and desserts, but the highlight of this place is the design. The theme is a spaceship, and even going to the toilet is an experience here. My friend and I first started off with this scallion pancake. I found the pancake to have a lovely texture with it being crunchy on the outside and soft on the inside. And the pancake came topped with several ingredients including daikon, kewpie mayo, yuba, and red fennel kraut. Now, despite the toppings, it didn't take away from the fact that the pancake was lacking flavor. However, my friend also tried it and she said it wasn't that bad. And then I got a non-alcoholic mocktail, which actually had non-alcoholic spirit in it, which I thought was pretty cool. There also was lime, peppercorn, spearmint, and peppermint oil in the beverage, and I thought it was delicious. My friend also enjoyed her alcoholic beverage. And then for dessert, we ended up getting this cereal oat milk based soft serve. This tasted just like sweet Rice Krispies, and it was tasty and creamy. Now let's continue satisfying our sweet tooth by going to Nibble on some chocolate. Nibble Chocolate is an all-vegan chocolate shop with a variety of chocolate drinks, chocolate truffles, and other chocolate treats. I first started my chocolate venture with a spicy Mexican hot chocolate. Now, I really didn't find it to be spicy in the sense of heat. However, the spices did add a unique flavor profile. I also had more chocolate, and this time in the form of a brownie. It was delicious and rich and had a nice chewy texture. And I ended up getting some truffles to go. You can get individual truffles, build your own kit, or just buy a kit that's already assembled. As I was getting overwhelmed with the options, I just decided to get a kit that was already prepared. I ended up getting a kit that included dark chocolate, raspberry, coffee, passion fruit sea salt, oat vanilla, chai, Mexican, and limon. These were a tasty souvenir to have at home, and all of these also had unique flavors, and I enjoyed them. Now we have to go check out this all-vegan restaurant called Donna Jean that serves pizzas from fermented dough, pastas, a variety of desserts, along with a few other snacks. I first started off with this mac and cheese skillet, and oh my goodness, let me tell you, it was so cheesy. And it also added this truffle cream on the top, which really enhanced the flavor. I have a very difficult time finding mac and cheeses that I like, but this one, 11 out of 10 for me. I then got a white wine garlic cream pizza, which came with some greens on the top. The pizza had a nice balance between the amount of cheese and also the amount of cream to be able to taste both of them. And while I don't know what the taste of fermented dough is supposed to taste like, what I can tell you is that the dough was soft and also the crust was flaky. The last thing I ordered was dessert, and I ended up ordering this strawberry basil cheesecake with pomegranate vinaigrette reduction. And this was heaven in my mouth. I really enjoyed the diversity of flavors on my tongue, from the cheesecake flavor, the crust of the cream cheese, that whipped cream on the top, the strawberries, that pomegranate, the basil. You get the picture. The only thing I have to say is I wish the basil was more distributed throughout the cake, because there were only a few basil leaves which were on the smaller side, and I did find myself having to tear them apart and spread them throughout the cake myself. Now it's time to treat ourselves to an all-vegan croissant shop. At Hazel and Jade, you can get savory, neutral, or sweet croissants, cookies, cakes, and other pastries. You also can get a variety of teas and coffees here. I first started off with the croissant, which had ham and cheese in it, and it's made for a delicious savory breakfast. And I just have to say, this is one of the best croissants I've ever had so far. It was very flaky, and also the outside had a nice crunch to it. I then ended up getting the San Diego latte, which is an espresso with a blend of teas. And this ended up being a unique tasting coffee, which had herbal notes to it. I also got a cheddar biscuit to go, which tasted strikingly similar to the biscuits at Red Lobster. Also, the restaurant noted that they have been struggling a lot lately, so if you wish to support them, please visit them during your next stop to San Diego. Now it's time to get our party vibes on because we're about to hit up San Diego's first vegan festival. Last April was the first ever festival, and the festival is happening again this April, so I thought I'd give you a quick overview if you're looking to go. At this festival, you'll find many restaurants from around Southern California, and although many restaurants were non-vegan, at this festival, they only served vegan food for the day. You'll find a plethora of cuisines from around the globe, desserts, and can go shopping for clothes and jewelry, and also listen to keynote speakers. And the best part of it all, entry is completely free. Let's first start with the savory treats. My friend and I first went to this all-vegan corn dog place, which actually also serves Korean corn dogs. It's called Underdog. At the festival, they didn't have the Korean corn dogs though, they just had regular corn dogs with sauces on the top. We found the batter from the corn dog to be delicious, and we found the taste of the sausage inside to be meaty. However, when we said put the sauce on the side, we didn't realize that our corn dog wouldn't look dipped out as they usually do when the sauce is on the top. We just thought it was extra sauce on the sides. The next restaurant we ended up trying was Flavors of East Africa. And although not a vegan establishment, again at this festival everything is completely vegan. We ended up ordering plantains, rice, lentils and coconut milk, roasted eggplant, and collard greens. The dishes were bursting with flavor. The dishes paired well separately as well as together. The lentils had a mildly sweet taste, while the eggplants had a very mildly spicy taste. The collard greens had this roasted garlic in it, and the plantains had a mild crunch on the outside. The next restaurant we ended up trying was Leo's Kitchen, and this is a non-vegan sushi restaurant, but all of the sushi at the festival was vegan. My friend went with Baja Lemon, while I went with Spicy Mango. My friend enjoyed her Baja Lemon and said it was really flavorful, and I really enjoyed my Spicy Mango and how it maintained the elements of the sweetness but also maintained the elements of the spiciness and the savoriness, the three S's that I enjoy. I feel like going to sushi restaurants are hit or miss, and I also appreciated how it just tasted fresh, especially at a festival, because we tried this at the end of the day. The last restaurant we tried was Pupusa's Latin Food. This is another non-vegan restaurant, but they did have 4 vegan pupusa options for the day. One of the pupusas we ordered were a chorizo and potato pupusa. However, they ended up giving it away and then they ran out. So instead, we ended up having a cauliflower and cheese pupusa and a zucchini and cheese pupusa. I really couldn't tell which one was the cauliflower and which one was the zucchini by the taste. And one of the pupusas was meltier than the other cheese-wise, and we found that we needed the hot sauce for flavor. Now the one that had a lot of cheese in it was nice, but overall we just found the flavor of the pupusas to be lacking. And then for dessert, we started off at Maya's Cookies, but I'm going to come back as I did visit the brick and mortar a different day. The next place we stopped by was Kula Ice Cream. This establishment is not only fully vegan, but they're also fully gluten-free. We ended up getting a gluten-free ice cream sandwich. The outside of the sandwich, or the cookie part, was chocolate chip, and the inside was cookies and cream. Now, to be honest, I was a little skeptical because it was gluten-free, but wow, I honestly think the gluten-free flour made it easier to chew, because usually when it comes to ice cream sandwiches, I have a difficult time eating them. Like, the ice cream is slipping and sliding everywhere. Now, this is not a cha-cha slide, okay? But that cookie was so soft. So soft. Now, the ice cream is coconut based, which I was able to tell by eating it, but I still was able to taste the cookies and cream part of the ice cream too. Have you ever checked out a vegan donut truck? Neither have we. So let's go check out the Donuttery, which is an all-vegan donut truck that travels around Southern California. I got a couple of jam-filled donuts, and I also got an apple bear claw. This place was literally heaven on wheels. My friend also got several donuts to go, which she enjoyed. Now let's go check out another vegan pastry shop called Split Bakehouse, which had quite the variety of options. I ended up getting a palmier, which is a puff pastry that is baked, and in my case, it was dipped in chocolate. This was a delicious crunchy sweet treat, and I enjoyed the addition of the chocolate. Now it's time to do some shopping. Let's first go check out Slice of Citrus. This is a jewelry shop that makes their jewelry out of actual real produce. The real fruits and vegetables are dehydrated and then coated in an eco-friendly resin. The next place we stopped by was Cow Hugger, where you can get a variety of vegan activism apparel, and you can get a variety of vegan leather goods. And the last shop we stopped by was Vegan Power Co. Here, you can find more vegan activism apparel, or you can even get yourself a candle or some fun stickers and pins. Now let's revisit Maya's Cookies. If you're someone that shops for plant-based food quite a bit and have seen this pink advertising for cookies that ship all across the USA, there's a good chance that this was Maya's Cookies. But they're not just a shipping company, they actually have several brick and mortar locations in San Diego. I decided to try 5 different cookies and ended up trying snickerdoodles, s'mores, fudge, chocolate chip, and pecan. These cookies were so tasty, and I could taste the flavor profile of what each cookie was intended to be. Also, the cookies had a great balance of being soft with just a little bit of crunchiness to them. They also serve oat milk based soft serve with the flavor rotated weekly, and the week I went, the flavor happened to be pistachio. I had a difficult time picking up the pistachio notes, but pistachio does have a mild taste, to be fair. Otherwise, the soft serve was good, creamy, and there was this delicious and cute little mini cookie served on the top. Now, a 4-minute walk from the Maya's Cookies location I went to, you'll find an all-vegan convenience store called San Diego Vegan Market. Like your traditional convenience store, you can find literally almost any convenience item here when you're in a pinch of time, or if you just want a small shopping environment. But this one is fully vegan. And you can even charge your electric car outside. There's also a restaurant inside where you can grab cold food such as pastas, salads, and sandwiches. And occasionally, the restaurant also has hot dishes such as cauli burritos and asada fries. I ended up getting the burrito, which comes with Beyond Steak carne asada, house-made pollo asado, melted cheese, pico de gallo, guacamole, crema limon, chipotle aioli, and crispy fries. This is seriously one of my favorite burritos I have ever had, from the meaty taste, the flavors of the sauces. Also, I really enjoyed the texture of the meats, the guacamole, and the french fries. Now, the next stop on our vegan food adventure, let's go check out this all-vegan Mexican restaurant called Tacoterian. As you can guess by the name, the most popular item here is tacos. I ended up getting a plate where I get to choose 3 different tacos, and I ended up getting carne asada, chorizo, and al pastor. The plate also comes with rice, beans, and a salad, and that salad includes lettuce, pico de gallo, and crema. These tacos were so delicious and took me to the heart of Ciudad de Mexico. I love how the tacos had somewhat of a meaty flavor to them, and also the texture wasn't too dense. On the side, I also did get a fish taco, which actually came in a flour tortilla. Now, while I did enjoy my fish taco, unlike the other meats from the other tacos, I felt like this was made from a frozen brand, as in, I could tell that it wasn't made in-house. However, with the mango and the sweet salsa on top of the taco, it did make for a delicious treat. And then for dessert, I ended up getting arroz con leche. This is a milky rice type of dessert. I found this to be a light and refreshing treat, and I also loved the texture with the crunchy coconut bits on top, and I enjoyed the hints of the cinnamon notes in the arroz con leche. Now let's cross the Pacific Ocean and check out this all-vegetarian Vietnamese restaurant. The name of the restaurant is Plumeria Vegetarian, and the restaurant has an overwhelming menu with most of the options actually being vegan. I first started off with this chicken satay, which came with a side of peanut sauce. I really enjoyed the flavor combinations of the somewhat meaty taste, along with the savoriness of the chicken, and also that sweet peanut sauce. This dish was tasty. And then for my main dish, I ended up getting the duck soup. The dish came with rice noodles, and overall, the ingredients reminded me of a pho. This ended up being a flavor-bursting dish from Plumeria. That duck was crispy and flavorful. And also the soup came with a side of chili oil, which took the dish up a notch. If you happen to be in Little Italy and need some vegan food, there's a restaurant with vegan options called Civico 1845. Keep in mind that this restaurant is non-vegetarian but do serve vegan options. At this restaurant, they make all of their vegan pastas in-house and also make vegan desserts. I first ended up receiving bread and this pesto dip, and it's vegan by default, which I love. And yes, the bread was fluffy and that dip was delicious. During the time of my visit, all of the mocktails, which were only 2 by the way, were vegan. The mocktail I ended up getting included almond, coconut, orange, lime, pineapple, and nutmeg. And while those ingredients put together may sound weird, it actually made for a nice, unique flavor combination. It tasted like a refreshing drink with a little spice added to it. And then for my main dish, I ended up getting this gnocchi, which came with Beyond Meat sausage, tomato sauce, vegan cheese, and eggplant. I was a little conflicted with the dish. Overall, it wasn't bad. Taste-wise, it was delicious. However, texture-wise, there were some parts that were just like really soft, and I couldn't tell if it was like overcooked gnocchi or if it was just like really soft vegan cheese. But it was throwing me off. The restaurant has several dessert options for affogato, tiramisu, and cannoli. I was so excited to try the cannoli, but unfortunately my excitement ended there. The cannoli was stuffed with the almond-based cream, it had pistachios, and it was topped with sugar. Despite all of that, the flavor still fell short. It was bland. Down the street from Plumeria's Vegetarian is an ice cream shop that has vegan options that is called Stella Jeans. The vegan options are clearly labeled, and they have ice cream cones which are both vegan and gluten-free. I ended up going with the mango sticky rice flavor, and I also went with the seasonal strawberry oat crumble flavor. The ice creams are coconut and oat milk based, and these were so delicious. That strawberry oat crumble was divine. The chunks of the crumble was actually embedded in the scoops, and it tasted just like pie. And the crumble is soy butter based, which overall, along with the milks that the ice cream is made from, gave the ice cream a creamy consistency. And the mango sticky rice tasted, well, like mango sticky rice. And it's also one of the top selling flavors at this non-vegan ice cream shop. Also, at this ice cream shop, they don't use any toppings because they prefer to put the emphasis on packing the flavor inside the actual scoops of ice cream. And I really could tell because the ice cream had so much flavor. Now it's time to chillax and get some delivery from an all-vegan restaurant. At Plant Power Fast Food, you can get your traditional American fast food, but veganized. I first tried the cookies and cream milkshake, and it had an odd taste to it. It feels weird saying the term like it had an artificial taste to it, but it didn't taste like a traditional cookies and cream milkshake. There was just something added to it that just made it not really that drinkable. The next thing I ordered was a double patty cheeseburger with a special sauce. Kind of think of it like a Big Mac, but vegan edition. Overall, it just tasted okay, but nothing really stood out. Like, it just tasted like food. Unfortunately, I really couldn't even taste anything distinct from the sauce. And the last thing I ordered were these french fries with the sweet sauce and caramelized onion. Now, while I did enjoy the parts of the dish when there was quite a bit of sauce and onion, for the rest of the dish where there wasn't like a lot of sauce or a lot of onion to compensate, the fries were pretty salty. At this point, I'm starting to wonder if there was a quality control issue going on this particular day at this restaurant. Despite my review, if I do need the convenience of this restaurant again, I am willing to give them another shot because at the end of the day, some restaurants just do have off days. Now let's go check out another Vietnamese restaurant, and this time fully vegan. The tofu, the meats, the broths, the creams, and the noodles are made in-house. I first started with the vegan egg drop soup. The broth had an eggy taste to some degree, and it also had that egg yolky texture to some degree. I then ended up ordering the eggless noodles dumpling soup. This dish was also delicious, and I could taste the fried dough from the dumplings and also just the vegetables stuffed inside the dumplings. I found it to pair well with the noodles and the veggie broth. I then was given this free creme brulee, which was absolutely delicious by the way, but I do point out the word free because this may influence further interactions at this restaurant. I wanted to visit the restaurant as they have a 4.9 on Google Maps. Now, if you're someone that uses Google Maps quite a bit and you eat out a lot, you know that a 4.9 is really rare to have for a restaurant. Before speaking any further, I am not accusing the restaurant of anything. I am just sharing a personal experience. Please keep this in mind. It would be unfair for me to not share and be transparent with you that when I went to check out, they took off one of the meals off my check. And when I told them like, hey, no, I like to pay for my meal, they're like, oh, it's okay, but just be sure to leave us a good Yelp review. So now I can't help but wonder on Google Maps. I don't use Yelp, so I don't know what the Yelp looks like. How much of the 4.9 is genuine? I actually did enjoy my food there, but my point still stands. Again, I'm not trying to accuse the restaurant of anything. I am just sharing my personal experience of what happened. Anyway, enough dramatics. Let's have some peace for our final restaurant at Peace Pies, a raw vegan eatery. This restaurant is located right next to the beach, which also explains my crappy footage of my picnic of trying to see the sunset, even though the sun had already set. The first thing I ordered were some nachos. Now, I did find the nacho chips to be really soft, like they weren't like the type of chips that I could go walk in the store and get. And it got messy pretty quickly. As for the toppings, it came with vegan chorizo and vegetables. Now, I didn't find the chorizo to taste meaty, however, it did have its own unique flavor profile. And as for the rest of the toppings, they were zesty and tangy, and there was also some avocado in there which gave it a lovely creamy texture. Now, while this wasn't your traditional nacho recipe, this still doesn't take away from the fact that this was still delicious. I also got a milkshake to go, and although it was a little grainy, otherwise it tasted like chocolate caramel candy. And I also got a tuna lettuce wrap to go, and I wish there was one wrap of lettuce less, as it would have been easier to eat. And although it didn't taste like tuna, it still was a flavorful veggie dish. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to stick around for more vegan food adventures like this one. And until next time, bye!